Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only forecast through until Sunday. We're still seeing some downpours and severe thunderstorms. Certainly there's been some flooding over the weekend around parts of Queensland and certainly into Sydney too. Now we are seeing this giant area of low pressure south of Australia. The dark shading you see is lower air pressure. That means more instability in the atmosphere, thunderstorms and showers, things like that. There's a big high pressure zone out over New Zealand, so pretty calm conditions out to your east and also out around the Tasman Sea for Norfolk and Lord Howe Island. But these low pressure zones out here are worth keeping an eye on. There's more on the way, and the unsettled spring-like pattern, which is still carrying on for those of you in the southern half of the nation, carries on for the next week or two at least. We've today got our Climate Watch update. This is usually issued for New Zealand, but we've kind of extended the maps a lot more because we have so many Australian viewers. So if you're a farmer or a grower and are keen to see what the outlook is coming up for the next month or so, please do take a look at our Climate Watch video out today. Like I say, it's primarily made for New Zealand, but I think you'll find enough of the maps and the way I talk is kind of big picture enough for it to be good for you to watch as well. So low pressure is the main theme as we kick off this week. We don't see any big highs just yet, although there are a couple waiting out here in the wings over the Indian Ocean. So this is how we look on Tuesday into the afternoon, showing 24 hours of rainfall leading up to that. So we do see more thunderstorms and showers around parts of Victoria, New South Wales, maybe going into the ACT. And again, isolated thunderstorms and showers around Queensland and the Northern Territory. A few showers also coming into the northeastern corner of South Australia. But look at Western Australia, a large portion of the state is dry. And we see these showers down here in the southwest corner still coming in from south of you. So perhaps a little bit cooler there, while many other areas are feeling that heat now as we get into that time of the year. As we go through to Wednesday, there is more of a clearance down to the south and southeast. More of those showers clearing away from South Australia and a big portion of Victoria. This is actually high pressure. It's a very weak high, but there's a weak high pressure crossing through Bass Strait on Wednesday. So just to the north of that, still around the high country of Victoria, getting some showers in there, maybe an early thunderstorm from the day before. You'll be seeing some heavy showers and thunderstorms out across the outback of New South Wales and possibly coming in to the ACT. Isolated showers elsewhere, similar story around Queensland. There's just a few afternoon sort of an evening showers coming through there with a few thunderstorms, maybe severe. And over in Western Australia, a large portion is dry except for around the Kimberley, which is still seeing a few showers. And those showers in the Northern Territory, they're not very much for you. Into Thursday. Big picture now because there's not a lot actually happening around Australia. We do see a line of heavier showers here moving northwards, well north of Sydney, up around places like Grafton potentially a bit later on. High pressure is ballooning out into the Tasman, so Lord Howe Island, Norfolk Island, not seeing much in the way of rain, neither is Tasmania or Victoria. South Australia's got a small area of low pressure out on the western side. That might produce a few showers here and there. Doesn't look like much. In fact, doesn't really look like much in the way of heavy rain for much of the continent on Thursday. And Western Australia, once again, is the driest with a bit of a windy sou'easter coming out there for those of you in Fremantle and Perth. High pressure is out over the Tasman, as I said, another high just west of Western Australia. But the Southern Ocean still really stormy. 976 is this low here directly south of Western Australia over the Southern Ocean. So big storms south of you are going to fuel more of this unsettled pattern. And further up in the tropics, no real sign yet of La Nina. The Bureau of Meteorology say there are some, signs of it, and then you look at sort of the long-term trend and there's not enough to lock it in yet. You talk to the Americans and they are more convinced La Nina is going to happen. So we're keeping an eye on it, but the tropics for now not looking too aggressive. And remember, the blues that you're seeing here on this map are at the very beginning of the scale showing 24 hours. So much of the blue on this map is not really showing much in the way of rain. No heavy stuff. Neither on Friday. I mean, there's not a lot of heavy rain, although the good news is hopefully around Victoria, those dry parts of Victoria, people who have been writing to us for many weeks now asking for rain, this might give you some, but I got to say it's a few days out still. Can't completely lock this in around Melbourne and northwards of Melbourne. If you're anywhere from Ballarat to Bendigo and over towards Melbourne, you might be desperate for rain. That area there, that blob of yellow to gold, 20 to 40 millimetres falling on Friday. All it takes is a sea breeze or a breeze to be slightly stronger than is forecast here, and that area of rain can shift 100, 200 kilometres one way or the other. So we are keeping an eye on it, but don't get your hopes up too much just in case it falls apart over the next couple of days. But there's certainly some instability around thanks to the lower air pressure. That is good for making rainfall, and that's what happens going into the weekend by the looks of it. Enough low pressure. Here is the next high, south of Albany, Western Australia. So we've got a colder southwesterly wind coming in towards Tasmania with a low just off over here. That could produce enough instability with the heat coming down, that hot, humid heat. See the red line here, wrapping itself around Sydney. So you're going to be feeling that hot, humid weather coming down. And so that produces some good afternoon downpours and thunderstorms from about Canberra, jumping over into Victoria, fading out once you get into Melbourne, but still seeing more of those showers around Tasmania as well. Elsewhere, a risk of showers, not very much in there as far as rainfall is concerned. Hit and miss for many, many places. The best chance up here around the ranges. And going into Sunday, a fairly dry day as well. Remember, the blue is 24 hours worth, so you just might get a few showers, and much of this map won't be very much. But some of these other areas around sort of Alice Springs to Uluru, you might be seeing some heavier falls there in the more remote parts. And again, the outback around New South Wales, getting a few showers, nothing too major in there. Just a few afternoon thunderstorms might bubble up somewhere well west of Sydney. But around Tasmania, cooler for you, going around this high pressure zone, there is a sou'wester coming in. That is also helping to produce this storm out around New Zealand's South Island. So there are quite a few things on the go at the moment in our weather forecast for the next week ahead. And here is the rainfall as well to make sense of everything we just talked about. You can certainly see it's this area here with the most amount of rain from inland parts north of Melbourne up towards the mountains and ranges, and also coming in towards about the ACT. That's where it fades out, that risk. So these areas here in the darker red, 60, 80 millimetres possible over the next 7 days. And then you've got the area in purple, which could be seeing 100 millimetres plus here and there. Not very many of those are purple areas though. Many, many areas not seeing very much in the way of wet weather, especially Western Australia. After all those downpours that we were seeing for many, many weeks through central areas, now it's drying out, back to probably how it should be. But it's, again, still some heavier falls through the interior. That's all from me. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you again on Thursday this week with our next update. Thanks so much for all the comments last week. We talked about the flights and flyovers. Overwhelmingly, you want me to stick with Australia, so we will keep doing that. And we are looking at finding a way to make an extra weather video for Australia, for the Australian market, as we go into 2025. So fingers crossed we can do that. We're a very small business. We don't have a lot of resources, that's for sure. But we're making a pretty big mark on YouTube, that's for sure. We've got a lot of support there. So thank you so much for all of your support, all of your comments. We like to keep the comments open. Not everyone else does that. And we enjoy the pushbacks, and we love, obviously, the positive feedback too. So thank you so much from me, Sean, our producer, and our very small team. We just want to say thank you to the Australian market, and here's hoping we can do some more videos for you as we go into 2025. Have a great day. Don't forget our Climate Watch update is out today. Like I say, it's kind of for New Zealand, but it does cover a lot of Australia. So well worth watching if you're a farmer or grower across Australia. Have a great week ahead. We'll see you again on Thursday.